So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Triune of Truth. You know, for the last couple of years, I have had this wonderful opportunity of interviewing a whole variety of people. We've had other healthcare practitioners, specifically doctors, nutritionists, exercise physiologists, and today we have a patient. And I think Diane has a great story. At least I'm very excited about it. So if you'll just tune in for just a few minutes and listen to what we have to say, this could have a huge impact on your own health or maybe someone in your family. So Diane, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So what I would love for you to do as we talk to our listening audience is really a very kind of quick share situation, telling them what transpired. Now, if I can remember, you came in here for a particular back and neck problem, right? What was that?
Yes, I every morning would wake up and my neck would be really stiff and uncomfortable, and I never really did anything
to address that.
Yeah, exactly. And then I had a muscle in my arm that would, in certain positions, have a severe pain. So basically, through a friend.
Yeah. A referral.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's how I started coming to you.
That's how the journey began.
Yes.
Now, if I remember correctly, you also had an issue because the young lady who referred you to the office actually took a pen and wrote down. Tell us about that.
That's right. I have what's called non-essential tremors.
Tremors.
And there are times in the beginning, last spring, where I couldn't even fill out an application, and Annalie happened to be here, and so I asked her to fill out my application for me.
Yeah.
So it was like a combination of the tremors, the neck pain, my arm, and the biggie is I was a type 2 diabetic for over 2.5, 3 years, taking medicine, hating the fact that I was taking this medicine, tried a couple different ones, and now I'm a whole new story.
All right, so before we begin, and I'm going to let Diane share her situation, but what I really want for you in the listening audience to really appreciate from this is that, number one, most people see the chiropractic office as a place to go for bad neck and bad back, and you did have that issue with your neck. But after you hear Diane's story, I would only hope that this will open up for a lot of people. I always say that the mind is like a parachute. It works best when open. And to try to recognize how important it is to find the provider who kind of sees the whole person rather than just the symptom and where are you hurting. So in our consultation right here in this office, we had asked about other health-related issues, even if you don't think it pertains to chiropractic care, and you did mention about type 2 diabetes. Now, for the listening audience, a type 2 diabetic is someone who basically is called adult onset. Different from type 1 diabetes, my son Jason was stricken with that, which pretty much is a lifetime situation. It's somewhat of an autoimmune, and you have it for a lifetime. But what we do know about type 2 diabetes is that you can literally get rid of it, and you did. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what happened? And I know we worked with your neck, and that was resolved, and you said your arm. Well, you talk, because you're the patient.
Well, I started coming in, and you started adjusting my neck. And really stretching out
the soft tissue work.
Exactly, but you would talk to me and educate me all the time, and you would talk about that you had this organic program, purification program. So I knew about it, but I was overweight, and I really wasn't addressing my issue other than going to the MD every 3 months.
And being on medication.
And whatever. So I said, okay, it's time. I went on your 21-day purification program.
Correct. As well as your hubby.
Well, I asked my husband to do it with me.
Yeah.
So that, because I knew that if I had to cook differently for him than for myself. The two of us went on it.
Weight loss?
I have lost 23 pounds to date, George has lost 22 pounds. In less than 2.5 months, I am no longer a type 2 diabetic.
Yeah, so last Saturday, Diane comes into the office to pick up some product with a large, large grin on her face and commented after having an entire battery of blood work up and all other assessments, her physician said, no more diabetes. So that is the coolest thing, and that's what I'm hoping, because I don't know if even you're aware, Di, but the entire population who's watching this, if there is one lifestyle illness that is huge in America and growing in epidemic, proportions, yes, not only adults, but now we're seeing it with children. So, folks, what I really wanted you to gather from this is that, number one, the body is a miracle machine, and type 2 diabetes, along with hypertension and a number of other issues, illnesses, diseases, if you want to call it, are lifestyle based. And that simply means that as long as we are willing to take and play the game of personal responsibility, dramatic changes can take place. And if Diane, as one individual, if you can go from a diabetic to a non-diabetic, what I always ask people, and I ask yourself, think about pushing the fast forward button. What if you didn't take this action step? Where would we be? Where would you be? Where will you be? Where will your family be if we don't take these responsible actions? And very briefly, was it so difficult? And what I'm going to honor for Diane and her husband is their willingness to not just do a 21-day thing and say, okay, I did it, I was successful, but rather embrace it. So what I'm asking patients is, if you're interested in the purification program, it's dynamite. Is this something that you have to do and you can't help yourself otherwise? No. But it's a great, what I call, tipping point. That if we can get people conscious enough, and we had this conversation earlier about trying to look at a patient in their entirety, not just a bad neck, not just the lower back, but trying to address issues and at least create a spark for them to be able to then say, okay, with your guidance, but you did it, I didn't do anything, but introduce you to something that to me makes sense. Align the spine, eat from the vine, and of course calm the mind, working on our emotional state. So Diane, what last thing can you share to our listening audience, just in terms of value, and do you think that the concept of doing a purification program is just a good and healthy thing for people to do? What has it done for you?
Well, basically what it did for me is it detoxed me from sugar, from all those chemicals. And so I eat real foods. My husband and I eat whole foods now. We get the amount of vegetables and fruits that we're supposed to. My body is working so much more efficiently. Oh my gosh, all kinds of energy. I feel good. I'm starting to be the person I used to be. I know that sounds funny, but once you gain weight and you seem to go from doctor to doctor to doctor, you're like, I don't...
And the doctor's job, as far as I'm concerned, is just to kind of give support and urge and show the reasons and the rationale of why. So maybe we can end with this, is that I always tell patients, and Diana said the same thing to you, you got to find your why. Why? Why bother? Why participate? Why even consider doing this? Why? And I'm going to just simply say my why is I want to do or be like that chart up front that says I want to die young as late as possible. So folks, if this makes any sense, if you resonate what Diane is sharing, what I'm trying to share, and collectively as patient and doctor, but as doctor I'm just a regular guy too, trying to live this type of lifestyle. And my goal is to try to share, because most people are not aware, and unfortunately in many healthcare related offices, they're just focusing on a symptom. and I'm saying that we have to work on ourselves. Well, first of all, Diane, I want to say I'm so proud of you and so grateful, you know, that you allowed yourself to open yourself for you and your husband, and let's hope that there are so many more wonderful, healthy, happy years ahead. Bye-bye, diabetes too.
You get, it's gone.
There you go.
Thank